Man, as I get older, as I get closer to 30 rather than 20, if you guys didn't know, I'm 27. I turned 28 on July 4th of this year. But as I get older, man, I really just look back on my life and I think about the things that I did in my 20s to put me in the position I'm in now. And I just want to give you guys some game on some things that you should prioritize in your 20s so that your 30s can be graceful. And keep in mind, man, and this is more so for men, to be honest, but man, keep in mind, as a man, as you get older, that's when you really hit your prime. A lot of us, we think that we're in our prime in our 20s, but as a man, you really start to hit your peak and your prime once you really get to, your late 30s and 40s. So, yeah, man, with that being said, let's get into this. And let's do it, man. So, hey, one tip that I would give everybody in their 20s, one thing I feel like everybody should do in their 20s is start creating healthy habits. Now, when I say healthy habits, I don't mean only physically. I mean, financially and mentally as well. Let's start off with the physical aspect. Let's be real. When we're growing up, let's say when we're kids, we can't really control our diet. We can't really control what we eat because for the most part, our parents are feeding us. But once you get in your 20s, that's when you pretty much run everything. You run your diet, you run your household, you run all of that. So when you're in your 20s, you want to prioritize having a somewhat healthy diet, man, because health is wealth. Health is wealth, and you want to be on this earth as long as possible. The longer you on this earth, the more money you can make. The more experiences you can have, the more sightseeing, traveling, all that good stuff you could do. And just having a healthy diet is very important. You don't want to be one of these dudes who 400, 500 pounds at 22 years old. Like, bro, that ain't it. I think about dudes like Dave Blunts, and I think he's like 23 or something. And bro, like 500 pounds having all types of health conditions. That's something you don't want to go through. And that ain't me disparaging him or anything. I'm just keeping it real. Like, do you really want to go through that at 23, 24? Me personally, I don't. So that's one thing I would say that you gotta prioritize in your 20s, your health, man. Make sure that you are going to the gym. Make sure that you are trying to have a decent diet, man. I ain't saying you gotta be eating greens and be a vegetarian or anything. Of course, you want to have some cheat meals every now and then, but at the same time, make sure that you are being conscious of your diet. Make sure you're eating berries. Make sure you're eating fruit. Make sure you're eating your greens. Make sure you're getting a decent amount of protein every day. Stuff like that, because you want to be in top physical shape, and especially for the women too. We see a lot of women, they let themselves go. They let themselves go over time. For the women, you want to make sure your body nice and right. Think about it. You gonna have kids if you're a woman. You want to make sure that you could bounce back like this, even after you have that kid, So for the women out here, it's the same thing. Make sure you prioritizing your health. Make sure that, you trying your best to stick to somewhat of a healthy diet. Once again, it doesn't have to be super strict, but, just make sure you taking a look at that, because you want to be healthy out here. You want to be able to really enjoy life. You don't want to be one of these dudes who in a wheelchair because you couldn't stop eating Twinkies and shit like that. So, hey, that's number one. Speaking of creating those healthy habits in your 20s, let's talk about the financial aspect, man. When you're in your 20s, I say one thing you should definitely do is, just try to avoid instant gratification, man. In our 20s, that's when we really like to splurge, because for the most part, You ain't used to having a lot of responsibilities. Like I said before the 20s, for the most part, we always living in our mom or dad house, you know? And with us living with our parents, we didn't have those responsibilities. We didn't have to worry about the electricity bill. We didn't have to worry about the water bill. We didn't have to worry about the mortgage or the rent or anything like that. And a lot of us, when we get in our 20s, we tend to continue on with that mindset of not worrying about these different expenses that can pile up. And to make matters worse, a lot of us in our 20s and 30s, because we don't have any financial literacy, we tend to splurge on bullshit that won't benefit us in the long run. An example is that you see a lot of people in their 20s spending and splurging on rims for their cars, splurging on a car that's going to depreciate in value, even though they know that they don't got a stable income or a stable job. And that's something we gotta, cut back on when you're in your 20s, man. Save that instant gratification. All the shit that you want is going to come, but you gotta just keep working. You gotta keep working in your 20s. In your 20s, that's the time when you really want to grind the hardest because you're young. You don't want to be one of these dudes who's 60, 70 years old, still working hard, still slaving. You want to use them 20s where you young to really grind. And all this shit I'm saying, I do my goddamn self. I do my goddamn self. It ain't no cap in my rap. It ain't no cap in anything that I say. When it comes to instant gratification, I don't believe in that. I didn't get this house until I was 26. After that, before that, it was all grinding, all stacking, all saving. When it came to my car, I didn't buy the best shit that I could afford. My car is a 2014 Camaro RS. I didn't get the SS. I didn't get the ZL1. I got a RS. And I still got that RS, even though I could easily replace it. And it's paid off. And I ain't saying that to brag or nothing. I'm saying that to show you guys transparency and show you guys that, man, when it came to all this shit that I got in my life now, I had to, take things one step at a time and really build up to it. When I got my car, it wasn't like I bought it for 60, 70K. My shit was 16K when I bought it. Had hella miles. But I knew that, man, if I get this car, I could pay it off in 2-3 years. If I get this ZL1, that's 60, 70K, shit, I don't know when I'm gonna pay this off. This shit might take me 5 years, and then it's gonna be a lot more out of my pocket. Instead of paying only $300 a month to pay this off in these 3 years, I'm gonna be paying $600 a month or $1,000 a month. So you really gotta look at things on a long-term scale, and you gotta avoid the instant gratification, man. That shit kills you in your 20s, and then when you get in your 30s, because you've been splurging on the bullshit, splurging on the designer, splurging on all the goofy shit, you looking sick, sad as hell, miserable, sick than a bitch, all that because you wanted to splurge. You wanted to, you believed in instant gratification. So that's number 2, man. Avoid instant gratification in your 20s, man. In your 20s, it's time to grind, bro. It's time to grind. Another thing that you must do in your 20s is, man, I would say try to find a solid partner. For the women, you try to find you a solid man, a man who cares about you, a man who is dependable, and a man who stands in his square, stands on his business. Every time you ask him for something, it's not always gonna be yes. Sometimes he gonna hit you with that no because this is more important. You need a man like that that's gonna stand on business and, prioritize the whole instead of just you. It ain't always gonna be about you, baby. sometimes that man gonna have to prioritize the whole over you. He might have to work that OT. Oh, I gotta work this OT because we got these bills coming up. Oh, I gotta work this OT because we got this, and that coming up. And you gonna have to understand that. And for the men, you need you a woman who is willing to help you. You don't want that woman that's just leeching off you, who just, always asking for shit and don't understand that sometimes, baby, I'm just gonna have to work. Sometimes I gotta grind. Sometimes I ain't gonna be able to give you all the attention in the world because, hey, I'm on my mission. And if she willing to help you in that case, be it, baby, I made you some dinner. I know you done had a long day at work. I made you some dinner. I got you a hot plate right here. Baby, you sore. You been working out and stuff. Let me massage you. Stuff, little shit like that. Oh, baby, I bought you this because I seen you needed it. If she willing to do the little shit like that for you, then hey, cool. But yeah, man, the quicker you find somebody like that, the better, because you can start building. You want to build with a partner, man. Shit getting harder and harder over time. Especially when it comes to having a one-person income, man. Shit getting harder and harder. This economy is getting worse and worse. So, hey, man, you really want to have a partner out here. You want to have somebody you could build with. Somebody who is on the same page as you when it comes to your goals. So, yeah, man, I'd say just to the women and men, be out here vetting. Be out here looking for a real relationship, man. Of course, it's cool to have fun. If you a bachelor type of dude who ain't really looking for that, I understand. But me personally, I would say in this day and age, you really want to just look for somebody you can really build with, man. So that's number 3, man. Find you a spouse, man. Find you somebody that you compatible with, that is willing to be on the same page with you and willing to help you on your goals, and vice versa for that person. You want to help them with their goals. So yeah, that's something else that I would say to do in your 20s, man. And keep in mind, all of these I have did myself, man. I wouldn't be saying these things if I haven't did them. So yeah, man, that's my life advice for people in their 20s. Keep in mind, I'm still in my 20s. I ain't no old head just yet. I know y'all start calling dudes unk after they like 28 or something. I ain't there yet, even though I am really an uncle. My brother, he has a son, so I am an uncle for real. But hey, don't be calling me unk in the comments, man. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, you already know what to do. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the motherfucking channel, turn on notifications and all that good stuff. And y'all already know, if I'm in front of this camera, I'm here to help you mentally, physically, or financially. And with all that being said, I'm out. Peace.